If you ever wanted any more proof that there's no law in this country, only legislature, I've got put out to a whole year. A whole year. I've been to court twice now. Want to represent myself. I'm not really getting the opportunity to speak for myself. They keep trying to convince me to get legal representation. I don't want legal representation. It's like they're trying to drag it out, stress me out, push me to a point where I just go along to get along. I'm not going to do that. I'm not made of that sort of wishy-washy, weak cardboard, wet paper bag bullshit. It doesn't work that way with me, I'm afraid. The more you do that, the more I'm going to dig my heels in. I've already owned my transgression. She gave me the same advice again as what she gave me a few weeks ago. You've already gave me that advice. Yeah, I've already done all that. I'm still waiting on my disclosure information from the police. I had lawyers down there trying to feed off me. No, I'm not here to feed you. I'm not here to be your another go along to get along bit of court fodder in the revolving door of plea deals. I've already taken the plea deal off the table. I've already done a plea. I've already been to a plea. Yeah, it's the way it is. Now, me and the cops have got to go to court again, a year out from when this incident happened. When a cop follows me home, tells me lies, threatens me with violence, enacts his violence, all because I wanted to exercise my rights and I asked him a couple of questions. If we had law in this country, they'd be all over that straight away, like, right, bang, bang, bang. They don't want us in the courtroom together. They don't really want to hear what I've got to say, but they're gonna. Oh, they're gonna. I get sick of listening to that shit all the time. I am going to seek some counsel, but I don't want representation. And the only counsel I'm going to seek is, okay, how can I get them to accept my submissions? I was willing to accept it last time we went to court. Now it's like they don't want to. I still don't know if the magistrate's doing me a solid or if she's digging her heels in now. The incident happened on the 30th of September last year, and we go back to court on the 17th of September this year. It's a whole year for what? 1 point of ice. Yeah, I'm that blatantly upfront and honest that it's probably, oh, he said the word ice. She said that she will accept my submission if I want to change my plea to guilty. No, I'm not here to play that stupid bloody game. You prove I'm guilty. Where's the assumption of innocence? This proves there is no law in this country. Where's my assumption of innocence? If there was law in this country, there would be major arrests going on after the Wood Royal Commission, the Mulligan Inquiry. That just magically happens to be coming back to the surface again, just to distract us from the real issue, which is fucking Israel. Them fucking Jews. The pretend Jews who think they're God's Jews. They're not. They're Satan's Jews. The devil's Jew. Oh, the devil's Jew something. One-way trip back to hell. Anyway. Yeah. What's this? And you'll see. There's no. is no law.
Plastic. It's everywhere. On our beaches, in our oceans, in our water, in the air, and now in us.
I think y'all are missing the big detail here. Like, y'all are focused too hard on all the big people. I get it, we should get them. But they didn't go snatch our kids themselves. They had help from the hospital, from the judge, from the sheriff, from the deputy, from an inmate, from a teacher, from a CPS worker, from an employee, from a neighbor. They had help.
I think we're occupied by AIPAC. A lot of people think that. We send $18 billion a year to Israel. Why? Just ask the question, what do we get out of it? Nothing. We get nothing. Are we doing humanitarian work? No, they're charged with genocide. They're killing off Palestinians. Are we helping them survive? Well, they've got a higher standard of living than we do, a longer lifespan than we do, free education, free housing, free healthcare, but we're sending them money. Why? Ask yourself why a U.S. congressman can wear an Israeli military uniform in congressional chambers. I would think that would be an act of treason, but they did. Nobody said anything. Ask why the Israeli prime minister can bypass the president, fly directly in and speak to our Congress without any other government interaction. Congress gave him 26 standing ovations. Our Congress gave Netanyahu, a foreign prime minister, 26 standing ovations. I have difficulty looking at that in any other way than we're occupied. The facts are all there. All you have to do is look at them. Now, we shut down that conversation quickly, right? Whenever we try to talk about it, you get told, well, that's anti-Semitic. No, it's not. Calling things the way they are is not anti-Semitic.
An easy way to know if you are controlled. Is there somebody or something that you're not allowed to criticize?
That's right.
Simple as that. If you lived in Nazi Germany, you couldn't criticize the Nazi Party. If you lived in the Soviet Union, you couldn't criticize the Communist Party of Russia. If you live in China right now, you can't criticize the Chinese Communist Party. If you live in North Korea, you can't criticize Kim Jong-un. If you live in Cuba, you can't criticize the Cuban Communist Party. If you live in America, who can't you criticize? Who can't you criticize in America?
The Jewish lobby.
Yes.
On both sides.
Right. That's right. That tells you who controls the country. You're not. The fact that we're having this discussion and we're on the edge, all right? Everybody knows here, this is the edge.
Oh, yeah.
Why are we on the edge? Because we're touching the third rail. We're breaking the taboo. You're not allowed to discuss the power of the Israeli lobby in America.
Dave Smith isn't allowed to criticize Israel. You went both sides here. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
No, you're not allowed to.
Was overrepresented.
No, you're not allowed to.
That's proof right there. They control America. That's who's controlling free speech in this country.
Hi, Steve here. They didn't release everything because of justice. They released enough. Enough to close a cycle. Enough to relieve pressure. But not enough to dismantle the structure. And while the public debate, scandal, Another question sits in the shadows. How many breakthroughs that could have transformed humanity never saw the light of day? Stay with me because this goes deeper than politics. If powerful systems can control information, why wouldn't they control innovation? History gives us uncomfortable examples. Let's start with one of the most famous. Nikola Tesla envisioned wireless transmission of energy, global communication before radio became mainstream, mass electrification without centralized control. His Wardenclyffe Tower project was funded and then abruptly defunded. JP Morgan reportedly withdrew support when he realized Tesla's system could not be easily monetized. The tower was dismantled. After Tesla died in 1943, U.S. authorities seized many of his papers. Some were later returned to his family. Others remain debated. Was it suppression? Was it financial practicality? Was it national security concerns during wartime? The answer depends on who you ask. But one thing is certain. A brilliant mind died nearly broke, and his most ambitious vision never materialized. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Tesla isn't the only one. Stanley Meyer claimed to have built a car powered by water using a water fuel cell. He attracted media attention in the 1990s. He was sued for fraud and lost in court. Shortly after he died, suddenly in 1998. Supporters say he was silenced. Skeptics say the science didn't hold up. But they always say that. The official cause of death, a brain aneurysm. Conspiracy or failed invention? The controversy persists. And there are so many more. Like Royal Raymond Rife. In the 1930s, Rife claimed he developed a frequency device capable of destroying cancer cells. Some early reports praised his experiments. Later, his work was discredited. Laboratories burned. Funding disappeared. Mainstream medicine rejected the claims. Supporters argue his research was buried. Critics argue it lacked reproducibility. Again, controversy. Now pause and think for a minute. Notice anything? In every case, breakthrough claim, initial excitement, pushback, discrediting, disappearance. Is that proof of suppression? Not necessarily, but it raises a larger question. Who decides what survives? Large-scale innovation requires funding. Funding requires approval. Approval requires alignment with economic structures. If a technology disrupts energy markets, medical industries, telecommunications monopolies, would it be embraced or resisted? History shows that disruptive technologies often face resistance. That's not conspiracy, that's human power dynamics. Now connect this to controlled disclosure. If systems can manage scandal exposure, they can manage technological narratives too. Release enough to appear transparent, control enough to maintain structure. The pattern becomes visible. Not necessarily evil masterminds, but systems protecting themselves. Imagine if energy were decentralized. Medical breakthroughs were open sourced. Transportation no longer depended on fuel monopolies. Would global power structures look the same? Or would they fundamentally shift? This is where the suspicion grows, not because every inventor was assassinated, but because centralized systems resist decentralization. Always. And here's where your original point returns. There are two frameworks. One sees guilt and disruption as threats to stability. The other sees truth as worth the cost. Biblical Christianity does not manage cycles. It breaks them. It doesn't symbolically discharge wrongdoing. It demands transformation. If innovation truly healed humanity, it would threaten structures built on control. And structures fight back. Not always through murder, sometimes through funding cuts, smear campaigns, bureaucratic suffocation, ridicule, silence. This is why the struggle feels bigger than individuals. It's structural, economic, spiritual. Scripture speaks of principalities and powers. That doesn't require paranoia. It requires discernment. Systems have inertia. Power protects itself, and truth often threatens power. So when you see controlled exposure, when you see selective transparency, when you see cycles close without true accountability, ask yourself, is this justice or stabilization? Is this transformation or maintenance? Because history shows us something undeniable. Some of the greatest minds in human history were celebrated, then sidelined, and sometimes forgotten. The question is not whether every claim is true. The question is who benefits when innovation disappears, and who benefits when scandal closes quietly. Stay discerning, because truth doesn't fear exposure, and real justice doesn't stop halfway. Think about it.
Do you know that you do not have to love God or worship Him, but you're just not going to spend eternity where He is? People in my comment section say to me all the time, well, if your God is so good and He really is love, well, then why would He force me to worship Him and obey Him, or I'm going to go to hell forever? But here's the truth about that. God created everything that you see with your eyes. He created the world. He created every pleasure that you enjoy. He literally created you Himself. He created you. You are His. This earth is His. The world is His. Everything is His. Your Starbucks drink is His. Party, His. TV, His. Sports, His. But He placed you on this earth with complete and total free will to make every single decision that you want to make. He said, I'm not going to impose. I'm not going to force my way in. I'm not going to be intrusive. I'm not going to blow past their decisions. I'm going to let them choose if they want to be a child of God and be obedient to the simple things that I'm asking of them. They are going to choose to acknowledge me as God, and in that they will love me, because we are designed to love our Creator. And then they're going to go out and tell people about me and help other people understand that I love them and I created them. Or they're going to say no and do none of those things. As simple as that. But ultimately, we are going to a place where God is, where God lives, where His presence dwells, where love itself dwells. But you don't want to go there. You've already said that here. You've made that decision. It's very clear. You're not interested in that, right? So His only option is to send you to a place that is not where He is, because that's what you want. The demons, the fallen angels, they didn't want to be with Him either, so they said no, and so He said, okay, you're going to go to a different place. Unfortunately, there's no differentiation between where He's sending anyone and everyone that doesn't choose Him. They're all going to the same place. Well, here's the kicker. You are going to be in a place where demons and the devil himself dwells. And love will not live there, because God Himself, He is love. So He will not be there. He actually gave you the opportunity to choose love here. You get to feel what love feels like here. But in the other place, demons are going to exist with you. And guess what? You are made in the likeness of God, in the image of God, and therefore they hate you. They are the ones to blame. They are the ones that will make it miserable for you to exist in that place void of love. The Holy Spirit is our comforter. God is our protector. You will be going to a place where none of those things exist. You have up until your last breath to give the Lord your life. But why would you live like hell here? Why would you live like hell for all eternity? Why would you not give the God who created you a chance to show you that He really is the greatest thing that ever existed in your life, and you will fall so desperately and madly in love with Him, you won't even be able to think ever again about not living for Him. Guys, Jesus is the answer.
And secondly, if there was any law in this country, they wouldn't be allocating 4 hours to a trial that's not going to happen until September. The prosecutor apparently already knows we're going to get it done in 4 hours. Okay. But I have a witness to call. The same person that the same cop bashed up who lives next door. Yeah, my next door neighbour. He got bashed up in front of his kids by the same cop in his own home when he woke up to the cop walking around in his house without a warrant. And they're claiming they don't need a warrant. Okay, they're claiming they don't need a warrant. Yeah, you do. Oh, but it's the law. No, it's not. It's legislature. We didn't vote on that. Like I say, I really don't care what the outcome is. I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less. Nobody agrees with you. That's the point, you fucking idiots. No one agrees with you. No one likes it. They're just afraid to speak up against you. Now imagine if the role was reversed, since we are the many by a long shot. And we all just started walking into cops' houses. Do what we like. You work for us, remember? No, but that wouldn't happen. Why? Because we have a bit more respect for mankind than that. We have a bit more respect for our brethren than that. We don't get around thinking that we can tell people how to live their lives. We don't want to control people. That's your malfunction. It's fucking sick.